Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. Today, we're stepping into the world of Lebanon public schools. We'll be using their 2024-2025 annual report as our guide. And let me tell you, this report is much more than just numbers and charts. It really reads like the story of a community deeply committed to education.
That's absolutely right. Our goal today is to really unpack that story. We're looking at the core initiatives, some frankly surprising achievements, and the strategic thinking laid out in this report. We want to give you a clear picture of how the district is changing, what its priorities are, and importantly, the impact all this is having on the students and, well, the whole Lebanon community. It's about seeing the bigger picture.
Okay, so where does that story begin? I mean, how does the district really set itself up for this kind of focused approach?
Well, it really starts with leadership and a clear vision. Superintendent Andrew Gonzalez has championed this, and it's grounded in these core values: inclusion, safety, and, of course, academic rigor.
So not just buzzwords, but actual guiding principles.
Exactly, and you see these principles woven directly into the Lebanon Strategic Plan 2025-2030. It's built on three interconnected pillars.
Okay, pillars. Let's break those down.
The first is grow learners. The idea here is helping students become self-directed learners, using inquiry-based methods, really putting the student at the center.
Makes sense. What's the second?
Cultivate leaders. And this isn't just about administrators. It's about everyone, teachers, staff, even students becoming lead learners, fostering collaboration, empowering individuals.
Interesting. Lead learners. I like that framing. And the third?
Create legacies.
Yeah.
This one's about building a lasting culture, personalization, welcoming everyone, strong communication, community partnerships, all within, modern learning environments. And what ties it all together is their portrait of a graduate.
Ah, okay. What does that look like?
It outlines 6 key qualities they want every student to have: responsible citizen, effective communicator, critical thinker, innovative problem solver, lifelong learner, and engaged collaborator. It's a really comprehensive vision for who their graduates should be.
That's a strong foundation. It really sets the stage. So let's dig into that first pillar, growing learners.
Yeah.
How are they actually, empowering students day to day? What does that look like in practice?
Well, they're really leaning into engaging, hands-on experiences. Take the middle school's Panther Pentathlon. It's not just games. It uses team challenges and local history to build school spirit.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah. And they brought in the Electric Boat Mobile Manufacturing Lab. Students got to try virtual reality, robotics. It served as a great preview for the high school's new welding program. There's also this really unique sunflower challenge. It's a partnership between the high school's agricultural program and middle schoolers. They grow sunflowers, and there's a contest at the Lebanon Fair.
That's very cool, connecting different schools in the community.
Exactly. And speaking of connections, grades 6 through 8 participated in the Project Oceanology Connecticut River Connections program. Multiple schools working together, studying environmental data, developing critical thinking. And, sometimes it's the smaller things, too. Their garden club is apparently thriving, so much so that other districts are looking at it as a model. Get this, they even acquired a cutting from a begonia that belonged to Albert Einstein.
No way. Einstein's begonia.
Yeah.
That's definitely memorable. It shows a real creative spark.
But beyond these really engaging projects, how does this translate academically? Are we seeing results in the test scores, the data?
We are. The numbers are actually quite compelling. At the middle school, grades 5 to 8, their proficiency rates in math and English language arts, ELA, are significantly higher than the state averages.
How significant?
Well, take grade 5 math, for example. Lebanon's proficiency is 66%, while the Connecticut average is 43%. It's a huge difference. And for grade 5 ELA, it's 70% versus the state's 51%. Similar strong performance across grades 6, 7, and 8, too. Wow, okay. That definitely indicates something effective is happening instructionally. What about the elementary level?
At Lebanon Elementary, the iReady results for K-4 are also encouraging. About 48% are at or above grade level in ELA and 39% in math. But the really striking part is the growth. ELA students achieved 127% of their typical annual growth goal. Math students hit 100%.
So they're not just meeting expectations, they're exceeding them in terms of progress.
Precisely. It shows really strong, consistent improvement. And the early look at the spring 2025 state tests, the SBAC, looks promising too, especially in grade 3.
Okay, those results definitely speak volumes. What's driving this? Any specific curriculum changes or program enhancements?
Yeah, they've implemented the SAVAS literacy program and magnetic reading in the elementary grades. Teachers are reporting, noticeable improvements in reading confidence and comprehension. They even held a parent workshop on the Sabbath program, which is great for homeschool connection.
Good idea.
And at the middle school, they redesigned the daily schedule. They introduced these WIN periods, stands for what I need.
Win periods. Okay, tell me more.
It's dedicated time. Some students get targeted support, like iReady interventions if they need extra help in a subject, but others might do enrichment activities, things like mural painting, soldering, working in the makerspace. It allows for personalization.
So it's flexible support and enrichment built right into the day. That's smart.
Very much so. And in the early grades, pre-K through 1, they've successfully rolled out play-based learning, or PBL. It really fosters creativity, problem-solving, social-emotional skills. Teachers are even doing peer observations to share best practices with PBL.
That sounds like a really balanced approach: core subjects, targeted help, creative outlets. Now, even with all this success, where does the district see room for continued growth under this Grow Learners pillar?
They're pretty self-aware about this. One area is continuing to help teachers shift more into facilitative roles, using strategies like co-teaching and flexible grouping even more effectively. Another goal is to better weave together academic goal setting, social-emotional learning progress, and career exploration within the student success plans. They're looking at tools like Naviance to maybe help with that.
Right, making those connections clearer for students.
Okay.
That makes sense. So we've covered growing learners. Let's shift to that second pillar, cultivating leaders. This seems to be where technology and innovation really come into play, right?
Absolutely. This pillar is heavily focused on modernizing the whole learning environment. They undertook a major tech catch-up, we're talking numbers here, 56 new interactive Promethean boards.
56, wow.
Yeah, and impressively, their own IT and facilities teams installed them in-house. Talk about efficiency. Plus, dozens of Chromeboxes for the STEM lab, workstations, laptops, a lot acquired through town surplus funds, which is very resourceful.
Smart use of funds.
Definitely. And they used capital funds, too, to maintain their one-to-one computing initiative, adding more iPads and Chromebooks. Crucially, they upgraded their fiber optic line. That's essential infrastructure to support all these digital tools. For families, they've expanded the PowerSchool parent portal across all school levels, and hundreds of school forms are now digital, which saves everyone time. Oh, and they added MyView Zonar for real-time bus tracking. That gives parents a lot of peace of mind.
That bus tracking is huge for parents, I bet. It sounds like a very robust tech foundation. I also heard they're venturing into artificial intelligence. That sounds cutting edge for a public school district.
It really is. Lebanon was selected for a highly exclusive Connecticut State Department of Education AI pilot, only 7 districts chosen statewide, and they secured $100,000 in grant funding through it.
$100,000 for AI. That's significant. How are they using it?
Responsibly and thoughtfully, it seems. They're using tools like Magic School Aid to help teachers with things like planning lessons, differentiating instruction for diverse learners, managing classroom materials. They're even experimenting with AI chatbots to engage students in Socratic dialogue, getting them to explore ideas, defend arguments, and using Magic School to create personalized learning paths that can actually adapt based on how a student is doing in real time.
Wow. That's not just using tech. It's integrating AI strategically into teaching itself. Fascinating. Alongside this tech focus, how are they cultivating those 21st century leadership skills in people?
Through targeted programs. Several student groups, Panther Pack, Peer Mentors, Student Council, National Honor Society, they all participated in something called the Empower Leadership Program. It focuses on leadership, collaboration skills. They use this framework called GRIP, which stands for Goals, Roles, Interactions, Processes, and Personal Growth. Plus, students attended a statewide leadership forum for hands-on skill building in communication and problem solving.
So, developing leadership across the student body, not just in a select few. Okay, it's a strong push on tech and leadership. What are the next steps or areas they're still working on here?
Well, they recognize that middle school teachers are still building fluency with using AI tools, especially for managing complex project-based learning. Their continued participation in the state AI pilot next year will focus on that. They also want a clearer strategy for selecting and using things like intelligent tutoring systems, think IXL or Khan Academy, as part of their overall student support system, their MTSS. And finally, while the administrators are using AI for analyzing data like attendance, they want classroom teachers to become more comfortable using similar tools for, say, formative assessment, checking student understanding along the way.
Okay, so continued professional development and strategic integration are key there. That brings us to the final pillar, creating legacies. This sounds like where it all comes together: safety, inclusion, community connections. Tell us about that.
Exactly. This pillar really underscores the district's role in the wider community. Safety first. They implemented a new district-wide access control system. It's integrated with their lockdown system, so administrators can manage swipe card access instantly. This was funded through those town surplus dollars again. Very smart.
That's a major security upgrade.
Huge. Plus, comprehensive safety training for staff called Prepare, focusing on crisis management and prevention. They've upgraded surveillance cameras, replaced old doors and hardware for security, and they got 75 walkie-talkies through ARP Day funds, which significantly improves communication between and within the schools. Also, an important environmental safety step, removing an old underground oil storage tank at the high school.
Those are all really critical foundational pieces for a safe learning environment. What about creating an inclusive culture? How are they ensuring every student feels supported?
This is a major focus. They've shifted to a school-wide inclusive education model. The goal is to increase the integration of students with special needs into general education classrooms by 30%. To support this, teachers are getting professional development on co-teaching strategies and differentiating instruction. And here's where that AI grant comes back in again. They're using tools like Magic School specifically for inclusion, helping teachers adapt materials, create accessible assessments. The grant helped fund a new computer lab and mobile whiteboards too.
So technology is directly supporting inclusion efforts.
Directly. They also have a homegrown program called Sticks and Stones that tackles racism, bias, and bullying through facilitated discussions. Very proactive. There's the Panther Pack team providing social-emotional support, and they've restructured how special education services are delivered using co-teaching models with dedicated special ed teachers at each grade level. They even launched a peer mentoring program using grant money, training older students to support younger ones.
That peer support piece is powerful.
It really is. And teacher feedback is positive. They feel the vision for inclusion is clear, and they're seeing the benefits of co-teaching and the AI tools. One teacher specifically mentioned how AI transformed how I differentiate for students. There's also the Pass Academy, an alternative program for high schoolers needing extra support, which has been very successful in keeping students in the district. And they're in year 3 of using the DESA system for social-emotional learning, using student self-ratings to guide support efforts.
It sounds incredibly comprehensive, addressing academic, social, and emotional needs proactively. Okay, let's talk community. How does the district connect outwards? What are those partnerships and legacies they're building?
The community connections are strong and financially beneficial, too. They bring in over $1 million in tuition revenue from other towns sending students to their programs, especially the Agricultural Science and Technology, or ASTE, program.
$1 million. That's substantial.
It is. And they also returned over $53,000 in pre-K tuition revenue back to the town, which shows good partnership. Programmatically, they launched a new certified nursing assistant class with the local workforce board. For 2 years running, 100% of the students passed their CNA certification exams.
Wow. Direct pipeline to healthcare careers.
Absolutely. And remember that welding program we mentioned? They got $50,000 in Perkins funding for it, with huge support from local companies like Collins and Jewel and Electric Boat. They're even applying for another $50,000 grant for welding. They partner with the local fire department, health organizations for hands-on learning. They're building up alumni connections for mentoring. And family engagement is clearly a priority. High turnout at conferences, parent workshops on things like internet safety. Their elementary school had 80% family attendance at their open house, and family nights focused on literacy and STEAM.
80% is impressive turnout. Shows families are really invested.
It does, and students are giving back too. Service learning projects, food drives, charity runs, environmental cleanups. It builds that sense of civic responsibility.
Absolutely. Now, we can't wrap up without talking about student achievements. The proof is often in the pudding, right? What are some highlights there?
The highlights are broad. Athletically, they had a banner year. 4 Eastern Connecticut Conference Championship titles, boys and girls soccer, boys and girls cross country. Plus, the girls cross country team won the Class S state championship, and the boys cross country team defended their league title.
Domination on the fields and trails.
Pretty much. In the arts, strong participation in drama, band, chorus, jazz band. But the achievements in the vocational and agricultural programs are really extensive. Multiple students recognized at the state level, several state championship titles in competitions like farm business, ag marketing, floral design, livestock judging, many advancing to nationals. They're earning real-world industry certifications too. OSHA 10-hour safety cards, Briggs and Stratton engine certifications, some even on the master technician track. 10 seniors graduated with Yukon College credits earned through high school courses. And even at the elementary level, the Invention Convention saw 33 participants, with 3 going to the state level and 2 advancing all the way to the National Invention Convention.
From state championships to national invention conventions, that's an incredible range of student success. It really paints a picture of diverse opportunities and high achievement. Okay, just briefly then, underpinning all of this must be sound financial management. What does the report say about their fiscal responsibility?
It points to a diversified funding model, which is key. They rely on local property taxes, yes, but also state aid, federal grants for things like Title I and special education. And as we mentioned, that significant tuition revenue over $1 million is a major factor. What's really notable is their strategic use of town surplus funds for those big-ticket items like technology, safety upgrades, and facility improvements. That minimizes the direct impact on taxpayers. And returning that pre-K tuition revenue back to the town is another clear sign of responsible financial stewardship and partnership. It's clear they manage their resources carefully to support all these initiatives.
Right. That careful management makes everything else possible. Well, what an incredibly detailed look at the Lebanon Public Schools through their 2024-2025 report. It's undeniable this is a district that's not just maintaining, but actively innovating and looking forward.
Absolutely. And all these accomplishments really set the stage for what's next. They have clear goals for continued curriculum work in STEM and literacy, more project-based learning, deeper tech integration, expanding mental health supports, and ongoing facility upgrades. That strategic plan isn't just sitting on a shelf. It's clearly driving their work every day.
It certainly seems that way. So as we close out this deep dive, here's something for you, our listeners, to think about. Considering Lebanon Public Schools' intense focus on nurturing self-directed learners and building real-world skills, how might their strategic blend of community partnerships and these innovative educational tools actually redefine what it means for a student to be a truly engaged collaborator and responsible citizen long after they leave those school walls?